and the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Everyone, Kyle here, and it is Saturday, and you know what that means. It's time for all the action figure toy news of the week that interested me, that hopefully interests you, but got to put a little asterisk here. Going back to last weekend, we had our normal Saturday toy news, but we had a special Sunday bonus toy news, so if you missed that, check out that video. We celebrated G.I. Joe Day with the reveals, talked some other news that was just missed by the Saturday toy news, so check it out, 2 toy news videos last weekend. But we got a brand new toy news here with all kinds of stuff to dive into. And we'll get to you, Todd McFarlane. We'll get to Power Town. Might even get to my dear old dad. Shout out to my dad. I just realized it's been a year since he was on the channel. I can't believe it's been a year. But shout out to my dad wherever he is. Wherever he is, shout out to him, of course. But of course, we got to thank the sponsor of the toy news. It is Jay'sToysAndGames.com. Use discount code Kyle. Save yourself 15% on all in-stock items. Got to get a deal out there. You guys know how that goes. Thanks to Jay's Toys and Games for sponsoring the videos. And if you want to sponsor the channel, the podcast, etc., reach out to me at TheKylePetersonShow at gmail.com. And you too could be a sponsor. How about that? Easy as that as well. Patreon giveaway. New month here of February. We got a new giveaway. We got 2 giveaways, 2 separate giveaways over there on Patreon. It is the Street Fighter Mattel a rock figure. Of course, M. Bison rock figure. So we're giving that away. We're also giving away the Jazwares Vault Brody Lee, and I've done a couple other giveaways that people missed out on. So there's always surprises, especially if you stay to the end of the video after the credits, all that kind of stuff. Every once in a while, there might be a free figure giveaway. And I will tell you, between both of my YouTube channels, there is a video that has a giveaway that somebody missed and nobody claimed. So make note of that in the future. I got a lot of stuff to give away, and I think it's fun to do those kind of secret giveaways later in the video. So you never know what video it might be in. Pay attention to that. But pay attention to the toy news. We got a lot of stuff to dive into here, and we're going to get after it right now. And we're going to go to Hasbro first. And this is wrestling adjacent, we'll call this. Street Fighter movie, we know that is coming. We do know Akuma is being played by Roman Reigns. Guile is being played by Cody Rhodes. Well, Hasbro announced they're making action figures of the movie, which will include both of those. So we'll get some WWE wrestling figures as Street Fighter over there from Hasbro. Could this be a look to what Hasbro wrestling style figures could possibly look like? What will these figures look like? Will they be G.I. Joe style? Will they Marvel Legends style? Something totally different? A lot of questions for this, and I'm sure Toy Fair here in about a week, we should find out those answers. So more to come on that when we do get it. But a new Cody Roman figure from their movie. That'll be interesting to see. A very difficult thing this week for me. I had an early morning meeting. We're talking a 7 a.m. meeting. Who has meetings at 7 a.m.? Especially in a foreign land of Wisconsin, of all places. But I was there this week. I was on the road all over the place. I was in Dubuque, beautiful this time of year, up in Wisconsin, all over the place. Be going to Minnesota this weekend. As you're watching this right now, I'm probably up in Minnesota. And then Monday, I'm leaving for Kansas City. I'm all over the place. I'm a world traveler. I'm just on the road constantly. But I was in a meeting up there in beautiful Wisconsin. Let me tell you, beautiful this time of year. I was eating some cheese because it's never too early for cheese in Wisconsin, as we know. But the Rock pay-per-view exclusive Amazon Ultimate Edition did go up this week. I totally missed it. Totally missed out on it. Was in a meeting, an early morning meeting. Too early for a meeting, if you ask me. But I did miss that one. Hopefully you were good enough to snag it. Hopefully they go back up in the future. We'll see. But I'm going to have to chase that Rock down in the future, I guess. But that's it. There's no Jazwares news. I know. And a lot of people are saying, why is there no news? Well, any company, I don't care what company you're talking about, if it's a food company, a hammer company, a paper company, an action figure company, if there's no news, they're not going to report it. But they're not going to talk about negotiations, talk about contracts. You don't hear Todd. We know Todd's losing the contract, but we don't hear all the other stuff. He's negotiating. He's doing things. He's working behind the scenes. No different than Jazwares. No different than AEW. Will they maybe come to an agreement before the year's up? I did talk about it. Was 2 weeks ago in the toy news where I said, I have a feeling AEW thinks their brand is worth more than it actually is. Jazwares like, hey, we're not going to do that for this price. And AEW's like, well, we'll wait till the contract's out. We'll take our wares somewhere else. Whether or not they can get lucky at that, I have no idea. Or it could be the other way around. AEW or Jazwares said, AEW, you're not worth the squeeze anymore. We can't make money on this. Whatever it is. Obviously, we know there's trouble in paradise. We'll see if it gets solved or if it goes somewhere else or if AEW just disappears into the night once and for all. We'll see what happens there. And Mattel, pretty quiet. We do know we got Toy Fair coming up around the corner for all these companies. And then after that, you got WrestleMania weekend. Mattel Revealed's in there somewhere. So I'm sure there'll be no lack of wrestling programming, news, all that kind of stuff here the next couple of weeks. But this week, pretty soft, but that lets the third-party companies shine. And we'll go to Grapplers and Gimmicks first this week. They came in extra hot with Val Venus retro figures. So that'll be interesting to get Val Venus. I think that warrants a spot in a lot of people's collections. So we'll see Grapplers and Gimmicks Val Venus around the corner. The Good Brothers, obviously, they've been out and about in the independent scenes for a while, back and forth to WWE, etc. Kind of shocked we haven't got any announcements for figures from them since basically Super 7. So it looks like Grapplers and Gimmicks coming with the Good Brothers. We'll see those very soon. But the biggest news from Grapplers and Gimmicks this week came on Friday. It is finally time for us to all get a sweet, sweet Sapphire figure. One of the all-time greats, of course, the mother of Cody Rhodes, as we do know. Sapphire, we're here for that. We're here for that Sapphire figure. I want to get a big rubber guy of Sapphire. That's what I really want. Hopefully that happens in the future. We'll see what happens. But Sapphire never had a figure before. Grapplers and Gimmicks getting after that one. A moment in time. It'll never be replaced. And can we get a fur coat accessory? We can put her with $1 Million Man. Heck, you might have to buy multiple Sapphires. We'll see what happens there. But Sapphire coming in. Dare I say a most wanted figure. I can't believe I'm saying it, but I said it. Everybody heard it. There it is. Sapphire coming there. We did see a little bit from Zombie Sailor Toys this week and more from Brian Myers. Brian Myers showing off his one of 499. Sure, why not? Brian Myers repaint there from Zombie Sailor Toy. Apparently an in-stock Toy Fair exclusive. So in the next week, 2 weeks or so, we should see that up for order. Should be shipping right out. Where's the Pinnacle? It was supposed to be end of January, early February. We're still early February. We're not halfway through yet. That'll be next weekend. But hopefully we start receiving shipping notification on those. Hopefully we start getting shipping notification on our Road Warriors Legion of Doom as well. So hopefully those are right around the corner. Nothing worse than breaking promises of in stock. And as I always say, you know, they have an idea it's going to be January, early February. Say end of February, early March and ship them early. That's what they need to do. That goes for big rubber guys. That goes from all these companies. Nobody likes the waiting game, but they like to be surprised with an early release. So we'll see what happens with that. But Zombie Sailor, a little bit of news this week. KWK news every single week. I think he does one of the best jobs of getting stuff out there consistently. We got KWK Flash Funk around the corner. Figures look absolutely amazing. A lot of versions for Flash Funk. Choose your own Flash Funk adventure. As we do know here in 2026, these KWK figures going to be a lot harder to track down. So get your pre-order in. The order's the order. We've heard that before from Collect Major and others. But if you miss out, you snooze, you lose. There's not going to be a lot of stuff left over. So make note of that when you're thinking about these. We also saw the Orient Express around the corner, another famous tag team. Obviously, one of those tag teams kind of like the Bushwhacker. You know they'd give up a fight, but they wouldn't win all the time. And that was what the Orient Express was once upon a time, once again. We also saw samples of the Laredo Kid, the KWK, Club KWK. I got my collar on for the Gray Skull and the Club KWK, but we got that around the corner too, so we saw some prototype images of that. So KWK, easy for me to say, keeps turning. And dare I say burning? Dare I say burning? How about that? We saw a title run toys this week. Johnny B. Bad ×2. Oh man, he's so pretty. We know how he is. 2 different versions of Johnny B. Bad. We need some more Johnny B. Bad figures. Have we had anything since the original San Francisco toy makers? I don't think so. Man, an elite Johnny B. Bad, Mark Merrow, that's one of those sleepers that we would love to see. Wouldn't be shocked to see maybe a big rubber guy of Mark Merrow in the future. Maybe that could happen. Maybe in the Johnny B. Bad persona. You never know what might happen in the future, so we'll see there. We also saw the one of 1,500 Jumping Bomb Angels. This is going to be a really intriguing one to me. Obviously, I've heard of the Jumping Bomb Angels. Never would I say they're in my top 1,500 tag teams. I wouldn't say that by any means. But it'll be interesting how well this one sells. To me, my gut, and I usually trust my gut, Todd McFarlane, you know, it's all about gut health these days. You got to get the cultures from the yogurt, the probiotics. I can't even spit it out talk today. The probiotics and stuff. You got to trust your gut. Unless your gut's bad, of course. But one of 1,500 seems like an awful lot for the Jumping Bomb Angels. We'll see how well that sells. I'm not opposed. I'll probably end up picking these ones up. But it doesn't feel that limited to me for what it is. Maybe you guys chime in the comments below. We also saw this week from the big rubber guys. We've had a lot of big rubber guys as of late. We've unboxed a bunch of them on the channel. Unfortunately, my Genius, Coco Beware. Who's the other one? I always forget the other one, but there's the three that are coming out. Coco Beware, the Genius, and I'm forgetting somebody, but I ordered them with Killer Cross. I thought they were all a wave together. They aren't, so Killer Cross isn't done, so I'm just sitting here in the lurch waiting for those to come. When it comes, as they say. But big rubber guys this week, and a plot twist, monster in my pocket style monster figures of Danhausen and Shotzi. Limited edition, what, 1 of 300 on Danhausen, 500 on Shotzi. I'm not sure about this one. We talk about it all the time, getting the most out of your molds. Well, this is really getting the most out of the molds. This is getting creative. This is thinking outside of the box. Obviously, it's not a huge run, but it feels like I don't know. It feels like, to me personally, the worst big rubber guys so far. That's just me personally. I wasn't a monster in my pocket fan. Danhausen and Shotzi, I love Danhausen and Shotzi. I don't get any problems with either of them, but I prefer my big rubber guys to be legends, so it has that going against it. But all that being said, I did order it, so I'm part of the problem, Todd McFarlane, as we know. But I don't think these are for everybody. I'm sure the Collect Major team would tell you right off the bat, these aren't for everybody. It'll be interesting to see how they look in hand, and we should have them here in about a week or so. It sounds like they're shipping right away. So be interested to hear if you pick those ones up. There's a lot of hardcore Danhausen collectors. I could see that. If you're all in on the Danhausen, you got to pick that up, and maybe you're one of those. It'll be interesting to see where that one goes. And then this week on, was it Monday? Arn Anderson did finally go up for order, and they're shipping that one right out, and he sold out within an hour. I almost bought 2 of those. I was like, do I buy 2 of these? Maybe I should. And then I said, I'll just get 1. And then it sold right out. I should have grabbed 2 because good friend of the channel, Jeff George, needed 1. And he missed out on it, so he's got to track one of those down. But yeah, I did get my Arn Anderson. We should have that review here in the next week or so as well. So a lot going on with the big rubber guys. It feels like we're getting something all the time right now as their orders once again got delayed like a lot of these companies. And now they're playing catch up here. They've had some troubles with the new factory. Apparently that's going to be behind them. We'll see where it goes here in the future. But now we go to somebody's favorite part. Somebody watching this is their favorite part of the toy news each and every week. It is time for the Power Town update.
Are you ready for pain? Are you ready for suffering?
All right, here it is. Everybody's favorite part of the week, the Power Town update, full of news. And I will say the biggest news here, we're just a couple of weeks away from their last update of their website. So almost a year anniversary of the website, and then almost a year anniversary, like clockwork, we timed this together. The release of my book, The Complete Guide to the ECW Original San Francisco Toy Makers, available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble as we speak. Check it out if you have not already. Almost the 1 year anniversary of that book right there. But Power Town, an interesting time there. And this week, I couldn't find any news. I looked around, and shockingly, no news this week. So I said, you know what? I'm going to pick up the phone. I'm going to call up my good buddy Magnum. And I said, Magnum, what's it going to take to get these figures here in the next couple of weeks? And Magnum said, well, let me tell my little friends that live in my trailer behind my house. They'll tell you what it's going to take. Was Magnum's answer, and I think he's probably right. But then I countered Magnum, as one does, of course. I countered him. I said, well, I'm going to reach out to the girls that live in my backyard in the trailer. And I think we could all agree, gentlemen, that I won this round here. He's throwing out the kids. I'm throwing out the ladies. Yeah, score 1 for your buddy Kyle. But nothing out of Magnum this week here. But then I said, you know what? I should call. I got one of the greatest business minds of all time. And Todd, this is not where you come in, unfortunately. This is where my dad comes in. I said, you know what? One of the greatest business minds of a complete generation, if not multiple generations at this point. I said, you know what, Dad? I'm going to call you up. Dad, give me your thoughts. I'd like to get your video thoughts on where you think this whole Power Town situation is going and what needs to be done to get our figures. So he sent in a little videotape for us.
It's very important that you enroll within the specified time frame, 6 months before or 6 months after. If you don't, then you pay penalties for late enrollment into Medicare, and that penalty will stay with you in your Medicare premium the rest of your life.
It's good to see my dad back here on the channel, but my dad, I think, had a little PTSD, or he surfed the astral plane back to his working career once upon a time with that one there. So didn't get much news out of my dad, but I might ask him again have him come weigh in on all this kind of stuff. And naturally, after I talked to my dad, I said, okay, I went to my dad first. Then I said, I better bring my lawyer involved.
Hi, I'm attorney at law, Zach Wild, and I'm here to fight for you.
After Zach Wild, of course, lawyer to the stars, got involved, I said, you know what, I should reach out. I haven't talked to this guy in a while. Great friend of the channel, huge fan of the channel, actually, and it's been cool to form a friendship, dare I say a bond, Todd McFarlane, with this guy. It is good friend of the channel, Webster himself, Emmanuel Lewis.
Kyle Peterson, how are you? This is Emmanuel Lewis. You also know me from the TV show Webster. Listen, man, I think it's so awesome. Thank you so much for being a fan of the show, having seen every episode. I can't even, fathom that. That's, so dope.
And kind of like my dad, Emmanuel, a little confused what he was talking about. And I just said, I cut him off. I said, Emmanuel, I got to go. I got to call somebody else. Todd Bridges is calling on the other line. So I reached out to Todd, and we'll save that offline there a little bit. And then I finally ended it with a good friend, Jim Ross, who obviously knows a little bit about Magnum TA. I said, Jim, can I get your opinion on all of this?
Put your ass down. Go to sleep. Give us all a break.
And I guess Jim's right. Let's just leave it at that. That is the Power Town update this week, but we're not done, as our good friend Jerry Reed always says. Let's dive back in. We got some more toy news to dive into, and let's dive into some G.I. Joe. It's near and dear to my heart, wherever my heart is somewhere. I don't know. Todd, find it later, maybe. It is almost Valentine's Day. Watch out, ladies. But we got to talk some G.I. Joe. We talked it last Sunday's toy news with G.I. Joe Day, but we got a little stuff this week. Some leaked pictures came out, and we did see Ninja Force Zartan, an iconic Zartan. Obviously not my favorite Zartan, probably not your favorite Zartan, but an iconic one. There's no doubt about it. Cool to get that one as we're working on our Ninja Force, apparently at this point. We also saw the Cobra Law Royal Guard Deluxe figure. Very cool to see that as well. Now we're just missing Globulus. How do we get the Globulus? I think that might be a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. Talked about it last year at San Diego Comic-Con. Lenny and I talked from G.I. Joe team probably 45 minutes about Globulus and what he needs. We need that second head with the dagger in the eye. We need the whole cocoon, whatever that is. We need the serpent tail. We need all of that stuff. And I think Hasbro will give it to us. I hope it is a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, if not the fall exclusive this year. Fingers crossed there. But the Cobra Law Royal Guard, very interesting. Got that blue face. As we remember the old figure, we remember the movie, you didn't see with them without their helmet on, and you get a very Cobra Commander before, he was just a worker bee over there in Cobra Law. It kind of gives you that feel there. So maybe some customs of a once upon a time Cobra Commander could come out of these as well. So I did like the looks of that. Moving on to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, NECA Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, we saw the Commando Triceraton, the Shock Commando Triceraton this week. A big, beefy space Triceratops is what that one is. I'll be picking that up. I don't think I'll be army building this one, though. That might get a little too expensive, but it does look good for what it is. Speaking of things that usually look really good, but the price point doesn't look very good, how about Mondo toys this week? But I guess I say the price point wasn't good, but it was good to everybody else, as the Superman animated series Mondo figure sold out this week. So if you're after that, you missed out. So we'll see what happens with that in the future. And then we saw on Friday, they were teasing, we'll get images next week, I'm sure, going up for a pre-order, probably a timed exclusive and a regular edition of Beast from the X-Men. I'm out on the X-Men, but a hairy bipedal creature could bring me right back in. You know me, I'm a sucker for a hairy bipedal creature, and that Beast will look very, very nice. And I don't know. We'll see what happens in the future. Maybe I don't get the timed edition, I get the regular edition, and I go to my friends over there at Jay's Toys and Games, and I save myself 15%. That's what I might end up doing. And then this one out of left field a little bit this week, and I don't know how viable this property is in this day and age. It is Voltron. Now, I remember Voltron barely as a little kid. It was kind of like the tail end I caught and got a clearance figure or something, as I don't really remember in my brain watching Voltron like I did Masters of the Universe. But I'm aware of Voltron. I get the story. I know what's going on. Very iconic when all the robots formed together like a Power Ranger before Power Rangers. But Voltron and Hasbro, apparently. We're going to get Hasbro figures of Voltron. That could be exciting to some people. So we'll see where that goes, I guess, later this year. Wouldn't be shocked to see something maybe at Toy Fair once again. So we did see that. And then Masters of the Universe, been a lot of Masters of the Universe news. Once again, we talked about it in both videos last weekend. But this weekend, we saw some impact images of Battle Cat from the Chronicles line. Looks really good. We'll see how it goes. And we should see a lot more of this line at Toy Fair. It's kind of a broken record in this video here. but we did see Battle Cat. And then we also got an announcement on Friday that they are re-releasing the He-Man and Skeletor Origins figure that started the whole Origins craze that also pegworm like crazy for a long time. They're getting those back out there. Makes sense. Get the most out of your molds, do another run, get them back. It's He-Man, Skeletor. Any little kid that's going to play Masters Universe, they got to have He-Man and Skeletor. And maybe they stop there, maybe they add from there. But you got to have the two core, good guy and bad guy. They're getting those guys back out there. If I was Mattel, though, I would have gave the better-headed He-Man. I don't like that new He-Man head like a lot of people, as much as the classic one is what it is. Mattel gonna Mattel is what they're gonna do. And now, last but certainly not least, we turn to our friend on the couch, the guy that's been here for years, the guy that's been holding it down and was holding it down in the trunk of my car on my travels this week on my figure hunt. You guys saw that video, I'm sure. Where art thou, Todd? Of course, Valentine. A beautiful time of the year for Todd and I. And we make the wife stay home with the kids and the dogs, and Todd and I go out to a beautiful seafood dinner. I cannot wait for this Valentine's Day. Todd's getting to pick the place this year. So we'll see where that ends up going. But Todd, I was going to turn it over to you, but there's no news. I have nothing for McFarlane Toys to talk about this week. So hard times from McFarlane Toys. I hope that's not going to become the norm here. We'll see what happens, but it very well could be over the next year or so. We'll see where it goes. But that is the toy news of the week. What say you guys and gals out there? Anything that interested you? Did you get any Power Town news this week? Did you come across my dad or Emmanuel Lewis or maybe Jim Ross along the way? Do you need the number of my lawyer, Zach Wild? It's always good to have a good lawyer. You guys let me know in the comments down below. You also made it this far. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on the old notification bell. We got videos every single day and then some. And of course, don't forget to subscribe while you're here. Patreon is quite the place with all kinds of bonus stuff, all kinds of exclusive stuff, and your best way to support the channel. YouTube channel membership's always an option as well. Sir Paul64 on the X, _Kyle_Peterson on Threads, Instagram, TikTok, and the Kyle Peterson Show at gmail.com, which is my email address. You can also check out the Kyle Peterson Show podcast each and every single Tuesday, wherever podcasts are found, with video cast on YouTube. This coming Tuesday, or right now for YouTube channel members and Patreon members, we take a trip to Germany, and I give you guys every detail you'd ever want to know about Germany. I'm a German expert, basically, at this point. And in a plot twist, we found out that my wife had a German foreign exchange student live with her. We find all the hairy details out, Todd McFarlane, so stay tuned for that on Tuesday, or check out this week's episode as well. Make sure you subscribe, thumbs it up, share it, all that kind of fun stuff. A lot of stuff going on the podcast, and we're coming up to the year anniversary of the podcast as well. So March going to be quite the giveaway season over there on the podcast, on the channel. You name it, check it out, subscribe, follow, all that fun stuff. You get the drill by now. But there it is. That's the toy news. You know what I'm doing. I'm rocking and rolling, strutting and strolling my way to the Twin Cities.
Well, are we gonna dance or are we gonna play?
Ist es ein Eisberg?
Nein!
Ist es ein weißer Hai?
Nein!